If you don't change what you're doing and how you do it, nothing else will change.
I will be the one that is physically harder and mentally stronger, and I will work to maintain that position.
And if I want to be good, I gotta wake up in the morning and I gotta do the extra work. I'm gonna work hard in the weight room. I'm gonna work hard in the film room. I'm gonna work hard to be a good student.
Take some action. Because nothing changes and nothing changes, man.
This is my life, man. Do you know how hard I worked to get here? I built this shit. Me. Brick by brick.
All of us, nobody's perfect. We failed too many times. We have so many uncertainty in our life that we have to be capable when we are down to stand up. It's part of the journey, it's part of the process, it's part of our education. In my case, I learned the most when I'm down. And it's good that these certain moments happen, because when you are in the top of the wave, you don't see under what's going on. I'm always say to my friends, it's good to have problems. It's the only way that you can improve.
Find something. Find a thing that you genuinely enjoy, because getting good at things you genuinely enjoy is extremely beneficial for young people, because it lets you know that, like, everybody thinks they're a loser. Every young person thinks they're a loser. At least a young person in the situation I was at. Like, I didn't know I wasn't a loser until I started winning, until I started doing martial arts. Martial arts taught me that, like, I could get better at stuff, that I wasn't really a loser. I just was someone who was, like, in a fucked up situation. But you could channel all that energy that you have as a young person into something and get better at it. And then all of a sudden people admired me. I was like, this is crazy. So I went from being someone who was incredibly insecure and basically a failure to someone who was really successful at this one thing that was very dangerous.
Plan a life you'd like to have. And you do that partly by referring to social norms. That's more or less rescuing your father from the belly of the whale. But the other way you do that is by having a little conversation with yourself about, as if you don't really know who you are, because you know what you're like. You won't do what you're told. You won't do what you tell yourself to do. You must have noticed that. It's like you're a bad employee and a worse boss, and both of those work, for you. You don't know what you want to do, and then when you tell yourself what to do, you don't do it anyways. You should fire yourself and find someone else to beat. But my point is that you have to understand that you're not your own servant, so to speak. You're someone that you have to negotiate with, and you're someone that you want to present the opportunity of having a good life to. And that's hard for people because they don't like themselves very much. So, they're always like cracking the whip and then procrastinating, and cracking the whip and then procrastinating. And it's like, God, it's so boring and such a pathetic way of spending your time.
I want you to decide, I am going to become disciplined. That should be your only goal. Because if you develop the ability to say no to the guys' nights and the girls' nights, to say no to the alcohol at any time, to say, no, I'm not eating that because I'm working on this project. If you develop that discipline at that basic level, how different will your life look a year from now? What will you accomplish that you think in your mind you want to accomplish if you develop that level of discipline? How much difference will it make in your life? How many times have you told yourself you're going to get serious about your business, or get serious about this project, or get serious about your career? How different would your body look if you had done what you said 3 or 4 years ago? What would you look like today? What would you feel like? Now think about that in every single area of your life. Think about it in your fitness. Think about it in your business. Think about it in your relationships. What would your life look like if you had the ability to remove the power of external circumstances from affecting your decision making? What would your life look like?
11 things people learn too late in life. 1. The less you say, the more your words will matter. 2. Don't take everything personally. Not everyone thinks about you as much as you do. 3. When you focus on problems, you'll have more problems. When you focus on possibilities, you'll have more opportunities. 4. No matter how much it hurts now, someday you will look back and realize your struggle changed your life for the better. 5. You meet people for a reason. Either you need them to change your life, or you're the one that will change theirs. 6. Never be afraid to try something new. Life gets boring when you stay within the limits of what you already know. 7. You will never truly know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. 8. Once you begin to take note of the things you are grateful for, you begin to lose sight of the things that you lack. 9. If you do not have control over your mouth, you do not have control over your future. 10. Life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it. 11. The only person you have to face in the morning is yourself. Be unbeatable.
Oh, I have a good quote for that.
Yeah.
I have a Casey Neistat quote.
What Casey
which
said?
is like that I don't even think he probably didn't make this up, but Tarzan can't get to the next branch if he doesn't let go of the first one.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of that
real.
same philosophy.
Yep, absolutely. And you've got to be, when you're grabbing that first one and you're holding it, it's going to be there, it's fantastic, but you got to know that you're going to have to let go at some point, because the same thing that saved your life, if you hang on, it'll kill you.
Nobody else at the moment has the power to change you unless you have that initial spark and say, I must do something. I don't want this anymore. In order for something new to come, something old must go.
What I see today is that everything's possible in this world for those who don't quit on themselves or their dreams, to reach higher and higher with our dreams, to become more ridiculous with our dreams, because they're all possible.
Love this game. I live this game. And there's 1,000 other guys waiting in the wings who are obsessed with this game. Obsession is going to be talent every time. You got all the talent in the world, but are you obsessed?
Everything is in arm's reach. You just have to work to get there. There is no easy road to what you want. It's a long road.
Lose! I don't lose! I win! That's my job! That's what I do!
You cannot change your life unless you change something. If you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got.
I never feel that I'm at my best. I feel I still have room to improve. I still set goals for myself to strive for. I'm never complacent with what I've achieved. Even though it's been very successful for me, I still feel I have a lot to prove, not just as a player, but as a person, as a father, to some extent as a role model in all aspects. So I'm never really too complacent with myself or with what I've achieved. When I get to a point where I feel I can improve as a player, I walk away from the game. I still feel that I have a plateau that I hadn't reached yet in terms of my skills or my expectations of myself. I'm always going to expect myself to do certain things or surpass certain things. As long as I believe that, then my road to success is going to continue to expand.
Stop doing the things that you know are wrong that you could stop doing. Right? So it's a fairly limited attempt. First of all, we're not going to say that you know what the good is or what the truth is in any ultimate sense. But we will presume that there are things that you're doing that for one reason or another you know are not in your best interests. There's something about them that you just know you should stop. They're kind of self-evident to you. Other things you're going to be doubtful about. You're not going to know which way is up and which way is down. But there are things that you're doing that you know you shouldn't do. Now, some of those you won't stop doing for whatever reason. You don't have the discipline, or maybe there's a secondary payoff, or you don't believe it's necessary, or it's too much of a sacrifice, or you're angry or resentful or afraid. Who knows? So forget about those for now. But there's another subset that you could stop doing. It might be a little thing. Well, that's fine. Stop doing it and see what happens. And what'll happen is your vision will clear a little bit. And then something else will pop up in your field of apprehension that you will also know you should stop doing, and that you could stop doing because you strengthened yourself a bit by stopping doing the particular stupid thing that you were doing before. That just puts you together a little bit more. And you could do that repeatedly for an indefinite period of time. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to ever be able to formulate a clear and final picture of what constitutes the truth and the good. But it does mean that you'll be able to continually move away from what's untruth and what's bad. And that's not a bad start.
You've got to do something to get control of your brain. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if you set an alarm every 45 minutes so you can audit your thoughts. What is influencing you so you can control what's influencing you. Control the things you think about. You can actually control how you feel. You can control what you think, and you can definitely control what you do. I write down things that need to happen. I write the orders to myself. Task lists. That's the general me doing the writing. This is what we're gonna do. Here's the plan. Here's what we gotta make happen. And then the soldier in me receives the orders. The soldier sees them. The soldier reads them. And then the soldier executes. The soldier doesn't ask questions. The soldier doesn't complain. The soldier doesn't hesitate. The soldier executes. And you gotta get that soldier part of your brain working. That's what the soldier's supposed to do. Execute. You need to separate and clearly understand those two parts of your brain, the general and the soldiers. And when the general and the soldiers both do what they're supposed to do, that's a united front. And that's an unstoppable force. And that is how wars are won. You gotta be the master of your mind. You gotta exercise mind control.
Something in you has to wake up. And usually the only person that can wake it up is you. Scary to wake up every day and say, I'm stupid, but I want to figure out a way to be smarter. Versus saying, man, I just can't do that. So you limit this box. So your box becomes so small of things you can do.
Whatever you do it 100%. When you work, work. When you laugh, laugh. When you eat like it's your last meal.
As long as you believe in something, in a dream, as long as you have a dream and believe in yourself, I think the success is just a matter of time.
You just don't ever quit. I tell people all the time, I wasn't always the smartest person in the room. I was just the SOB that refused to quit.